I'm Lexi. I'm in the US. Back at Christmas, my mom gave me an old recipe card box that was full of old recipes. I can't remember where it came from, but I went through it, and most of them aren't really something that I would make. But I did find a recipe for peanut butter cookies. And I mean, look at this thing. This is, I have no idea how old this is. I have no idea whose recipe this started out as, but it is pretty old. And you all know, or if you've been around with me for a while, you know I have a slight obsession with peanut butter cookies. There is a albeit short playlist on the channel of me looking for the perfect peanut butter cookie, and I found one I was happy with, but am I sure it's perfect? I'm gonna try this one because it's here and I can and I want to, and I'm gonna bring you along with me because why not, right? All right, so in the bowl I am starting with 2 cups of brown sugar. And this is a testament to how old the recipe is. It calls for shortening. I left the shortening package over there. Recipes don't really call for shortening anymore. But what shortening is a butter-flavored vegetable fat something. And it was very commonly used, I'm not sure when, I just know that a few of my grandmother's recipes involve shortening. So this is definitely an older recipe. But to the 2 cups of sugar, we add 2/3 of a cup of shortening. And it's labeled here on the side, which is lovely. Right here, we're gonna, it's in a plastic thingy. I don't have a knife. A knife has appeared through the magic of YouTube. 2/3 cup. And we are gonna cream that together just like you would cream butter with sugar in a standard cookie recipe. One thing I find very interesting right off the bat with this recipe is there's no white sugar in it, just the brown sugar. But you know how this works. I'll be back to sound in a moment. Okay, that is together. That is, looks to be well mixed to me. I've never creamed with just brown sugar, and I've never creamed with shortening. It looks very different than with butter. I'm not sure if that means I didn't mix it enough or what, but to this, we are going to add 2 eggs. This can, see, I don't need the knife anymore. This can go back into its little plastic container. That is my oven telling me it's preheated. That can sit back there. Okay, 2 eggs. One egg. And 2 eggs. Eggs out of the way. And I'll get this mixed. Okay. Next goes in the peanut butter. 2/3 of a cup of peanut butter. Brand new peanut butter. And no, that's a 3/4. And I actually have a 2/3 cup measuring cup here. So I'm just gonna spoon the peanut butter into this somehow. Measuring peanut butter is hard. Suppose it would be a little easier if I took the cups apart, huh? There. Now these can go out of the way. They're less noisy now, too. Okay, 2/3 of a cup of peanut butter into the bowl. Use the mixer to scrape that off. Yum. And then a teaspoon of vanilla, which we measure with our heart. And a 1/4 teaspoon, so a good pinch, slightly better pinch, of salt. And this is unusual too, but it's going to be 3 tablespoons of cream. I don't think I've ever had a cookie recipe call for cream before. 1, 2, 3. Every time I count to 3, I want to do the thing from the owl and the Tootsie Pop commercial. I'm not the only one, right? Okay, what's next? We're going to mix these together before we add our dry ingredients. And you know, I think I'm going to scrape down the sides first, because we want all that sugar. Okay. Okay, next we need our flour. And this calls for 3½ cups of sifted flour. It does say sifted specifically. I don't have a sifter, so I'm just going to kind of like fluff this up a little bit. And 1, 2, 3, and 1/2. And then 1 teaspoon each of baking soda and baking powder. Okay, 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. This is some dense cookie dough. I'm going to try and scrape the bowl so I can get the rest of this flour incorporated. Wow. It says to only mix lightly at this point, but I guess it comes together when you squeeze it. Okay. And then let me get this mixer out of our way. It says specifically to put it on a greased cookie sheet. So I'm gonna just use some of this extra shortening and lightly grease the cookie sheet. And then make some cookies. Put portions on, and it says to press them with a spoon. So I'm going to take that to mean that these aren't going to spread a whole lot. And I'm pretty sure that my hand can do anything a spoon can do in this case. That one feels I was going to say that one feels a little big, but maybe not. Well, I'm going to get the rest of this tray portioned up. And, oh, they bake at, this says a moderate oven. So I am taking that to mean 350 degrees for 12 minutes. So I'm going to get these baked, and then I will come back and we can try them together. I'll see you in a few minutes. Cookies are out of the oven. They smell delicious, very peanut buttery. You can see here they've got kind of some cracked edges from where I smashed them down, but I am very excited to try these. They were incredibly soft when I pulled them out of the oven, so I was expecting them to still be like almost gooey on the inside, but they're not. They're fully cooked through. The peanut butter flavor isn't as strong as I expected it to be. And truthfully, I kind of miss how you usually roll peanut butter cookies in sugar. I'm missing that on the outside. I like them. I do really like them. I'm not sure I'd make them again because I'd have to buy shortening specifically for this. It's not something I keep around. But it's definitely one of the better peanut butter cookies I've had. They're soft. I don't know if I'd call them chewy, but they're soft. They have a good flavor. Maybe roll them in sugar if you try this recipe. But it really was a lot of fun to try a vintage cookie recipe. Do you have a vintage recipe that's a favorite? Let me know down below in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, if you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye.